flip mode, aftermath. Here we go.
Back with the most venomous rapper, be the godfather of the club banger. Let me hear you clap. You can applause you from the very beginning. You can give me a standing ovation while I bang your face in. With another bang and I call it a cliffhanger. Watch me mangle the string on this whole rap shit. Come on. You can see the way you make them act sick. From down bottom, the way I got them. Give me my cash quick. Come on. Lock on, you better grab on to something because I'm about to shake shit again and make a black bitch. Come on. Now you hear the shots ring off. My bitches taking everything off each other. Got them on. I'm running for cover. The King Kong, Bigfoot, gully with a scully bully. Your raps still ugly with the money running the trap. Now they giving me dap. As far as I'm concerned, in this motherfucker, look how I got them. Now they ready to shit. Don't touch me, nigga. You might burn this hell. Don't touch me, nigga. You might burn this hell. We got them hot in this bitch. You got them water. We got them hot in this bitch. You got the water on them. We got them hot in this bitch. You got the water on them. We got them hot in this bitch. You got the water on them. Here we go. Now you see the alcohol spilling and we got them hands in the ceiling. You know we only come to rattle the building and break it on down just a little once again. Know when we holding the bench, so let me keep the dice rolling and keep it traditional. The way I keep the money falling while you slacking on your back and we always keep it going. Right to the left, do it to death. Now watch me come through with a chisel and make the game sizzle and I pull out the skillet. Here for the cooking, I'm a mile niggas running when I'm gonna bring the hook in. Thugs ice grilling every time you get the look and got a mile overseas all the way back to go Brooklyn. Now they ready to spaz cause we bring the best of them. Shit to shut it down on the regular. Mess with the fly 80s nigga that was whipping in the president.
And we are live. Welcome to the Renegade podcast. I'm your host, the Dashing Rail, and I'm with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
Testing. Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah. Can you hear me all? You can hear me? We're all good. So yeah,
Wait.
It's been a fucking weird...
What silences children? What if we invent a TV network for ages 6 to 11? That's insane.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and freaking indeed. Yeah, there were up to 5 people waiting. I really don't know if YouTube is the one that censored me or if I just suck. I can't tell anymore. This is why we have to have honest people on the how should you say it? On the supply side, the service side. Because again, I don't know if I'm being censored or I don't know if I'm just if I suck. Because again, you have to be honest with me. If somebody says, hey, you're not as good as you used to be, or you're losing your place in the world, old man, I totally get it.
I mean, for a fact that they're blocking our commenters.
Well, yeah, they are. I mean, what, you're not seeing MIDI hits? MIDI hits was posting. I see his. It's just before people are getting blocked because they might say a curse word or a naughty word. Yeah, dude. Okay, there we go. We have 5 people watching, and then of course DZ. Welcome DZ. Welcome Media Hits. Many YouTuber employees were on waiting. Oh, okay. That makes sense. For those of you who want to know what the music was, that was teamwork-busta Rhymes Don't Touch Me by the Ocarina of Rhyme album. It was the Gerudo Valley theme. Very good remix. I really do like teamwork stuff, specifically because they whenever it comes to music, I like fusion music. Fusion music in the sense that you combine, let's say, something that's old with something that's new, and you make a new genre. It could very well change your results may vary, let's just say. And it turns out that Ocarina of Time has a lot of good beats with rap. Not a big fan of rap, granted, but again, it works when it works. So, Digital Renegade Podcast, Record of Logos War, Chronicles of the Histrionic Catboy. We're going to talk a little bit about the Logos again here because, why don't we just put it in the grave? Why don't we just let's just kick a dead, I don't know. What's up?
Is it a zombie? Or is it like the Black Knight from Monty Python's Holy Grail?
No, it honestly is like the Monty Python's Holy Grail. It keeps recontextualizing itself over and over again. It's like a chameleon. No matter hello, Tom Bombadil, welcome. Yeah, it was a tasty track, wasn't it? That's pretty cool. But the thing that I noticed, and this is something I sent this to you earlier, and this is for those of you who want to follow along. Links are in the description, and if it's not, I will link it in. But for you, Luke, I've talked about this guy on before when he was Max Dirac, I believe his name was. This is exactly why I was frightened of the term logos instead of Jesus or truth or logic or reason. If you say reason, if you say logic and truth, it's very, very consistent. It's very precise. If you say the logos, it becomes more mystical and it becomes more vague. And then you have to ask questions about what do you mean by the logos. But at the same time, you open up a bunch of just a huge level of misinterpretation. Now, this was from
Worthy adversary. 'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. There isn't. Well, what's that then? I've heard worse. You liar. Come on, you pansy.
Yeah, well, tell you the truth, I honestly am at the point where I don't even want to call the logos the logos. I want to just say truth and reason, Jesus. Just say it. Just say Jesus. Say Christ. You know, don't say the logos. The logos, at its core, is sophistry at this point in time.
Oh, Matt Duran again. What does he say?
Well, let's continue through this. And this is an example of why I don't like the term the logos. And I told him the map is not the territory. The word is not the thing. And that's really where, you know, and this is one of the few videos I've downloaded of his. I like his content. Don't get me wrong. I really, really like it. I don't agree with the blending of words, and you'll see what I mean. Continue.
It's like Jordan Petersizing everything that you see in entertainment.
Yeah, to the point where you're basically acting like a freaking schizophrenic. This type of stuff can break your mind. But continue.
It's not clickbait. I will be demonstrating a link between Alan Wake and Shadow of the Colossus. Two games that could not be more different from each other, but nonetheless share one common concept, a theological and philosophical term known as logos. Dedicated fans of my channel will have heard me reference the logos numerous times over the last year or two. It is an archetype of storytelling, one that has been referenced many times in numerous works of fantasy. With this video, I will not only demonstrate how the logos has influenced many notable video games, but I will also show you how to use the logos in other...
I cannot wait till like somebody tries to interject the logos into Super Smash Brothers and try to like make the World of Light type of DLC make sense.
And for those of us in the Christian side, I mean, we've already said this before, but logo specifically in the Bible is the book of John, where it says, "In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God."
Yeah,
because that makes perfect sense because God is the essence of everything. Everything exists for Him, and everything exists through Him, and that makes sense.
It makes sense, but now they're going to try to manipulate people. They're going to like you'll see. Just continue watching.
Because if they're just talking about this, he's going to talk about like every single one has its own logo. So that kind of makes sense if everyone has its own god. But that, of course, every single one is their own separate god at that point with no interconnecting meta ethic.
Except in name only.
Ah.
And that's why I'm very cynical of my words, to be honest. But go ahead, Blake.
When you understand archetypal or religious concepts like the logos, you can begin to understand the intentions of a story's author. Doing this will allow you to understand the most ambiguous of fictional worlds, including Shadow of the Colossus or Alan Wake. Needless to say, there are spoilers ahead. Before I go into the history of the logos, I would like to cite the instance which motivated me to make this video in the first place. I finished going through Alan Wake for the first time yesterday, absolutely wonderful game. At the end of the game's primary storyline, Alan becomes trapped in a supernatural dimension known as the Dark Place. Some people still have trouble understanding what the Dark Place is to this day, but like I said about the logos, it becomes easier to understand once you learn about fundamental storytelling ideas. In my opinion,
the fact that people wonder what the Dark Place is and take it seriously is a little disturbing.
The fact that you know all this is projection at this point in time. He has not, you know, he hasn't gone to like the people who made Alan Wake. He hasn't gone to the people who made Shadow of the Colossus. Which, by the way, Shadow of the Colossus is a wasted fucking game. It's like an SJW tier game.
Really?
I'll call it. No, I really do believe that.
I really like what don't you like about? I really like the game.
Well, I don't like it because it's a wasted space. It's a bunch of it's like if you made something so beautiful like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but you didn't put anything into the space. You didn't do anything. There's just all this open space and nothing to do. And even then, I don't like the fact that I just don't like the series. To me, it was just too much. It was too preachy. I didn't like it. Now, granted, you know, there are going to be people who like it. There are going to be people who dislike it. I just didn't like it. But again,
for me, it's always preachy in a tragic sense because if you know anyone who knows the story all the way, it doesn't end well.
Yeah, it doesn't end well, and I don't like playing as the bad guy, especially when they condemn me for my actions. If it's one thing to be the bad guy who rules the world, it's another thing to be the bad guy who fails.
Yeah, when sympathy for a loved one makes you a bad person.
Yeah.
The Dark Place is like the human unconscious given physical form. This makes sense once you think about the things that you keep in your unconscious mind. Things like dreams, memories, and ideas. Once Alan Wake enters the Dark Place, what do we see happen? Alan's memories take physical form.
Now it is rather like for like these of like Silent Hill to the second Silent Hill, where the whole thing is like a Union symbology. It's always interesting to see how that relates to the Union symbology, but it's not really something you can apply to real life.
Yeah, and even then, like, wait till he starts bringing up, you know, I wouldn't even say dark place, but let's say the world of forms, because that's ultimately where this shit's gonna go. I'll just make a prediction for Max. He's gonna get into Platonism. He's gonna get into Platonism. It's gonna get hard. He's gonna, you know, go into the world of ideas, the immaterium. If for those of you who follow, what the hell, Alan Moore's cosmology.
Plato and his world of perfect ideals.
Exactly, and there's an ideal logos. You know,
there's an ideal chair, there's an ideal person, there's an ideal everything. It's kind of like the Quran is a perfect copy of a perfect book that exists with God in heaven.
Exactly, and it's a lot of this has to do with Platonism. You're going to see a lot of it be posted is Platonism. But let's continue.
Bane mentions in the DLC episode titled The Signal that Alan is trapped in his own nightmares. One thing that happens in the Dark Place, which I would like to give primary focus to, are the physical manifestation of words. When Alan is in the Dark Place, he encounters words, literal tangible words that appear out of nowhere. When Alan shines his flashlight on these words, they take physical form. So, for example, if he shines his flashlight on the word blast, a blast will appear. To most people, this just seems like a cool, spooky game mechanic, but it actually has a deep religious history to it. In many religious traditions,
no, it doesn't.
Language
it's
not
a
only
fucking
has the ability to construct.
I hate to be the guy who says this, but this is nothing but projection.
Because I don't know, does it? I mean, I know that like back in the day when writing was first being invented, it was a magical thing because people had difficulty comprehending a conversation with no one, a conversation with everyone.
You are giving way too much credence right now. He literally captured your imagination, making it run wild. I'm looking at this in the perspective.
This is what language originally was interpreted as. Like when people, how magical and weird. Like the Egyptian god of Thoth was the god of magic, and it was the god of writing, and so it makes sense that people would call writing magic. But this is not like what they're interpreting. This is like words taking on a physical manifestation of power.
Yeah, but not only that, but there's also the notion of, dare I say it, what is it? I'll just continue. I'll explain more as we go along.
Should I keep my commentary to myself? I'm not sure if I'm interrupting too often.
No, it's fine. Keep going.
Systems of knowledge, but also has the ability to construct the physical world. For instance, the Old Testament God from Judeo-Christian tradition used words to construct the physical world at the beginning of time, i.e., let there be light, let there be land and water, let there be man and woman, etc.
But he spoke those words and the universe happened. He didn't write them down.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where we get slowly deeper into the whole notion that he's going to find himself in Platonism.
Oddly enough, he's kind of doing the zeitgeist thing where he's trying to find remotely tangible English connections to try and make a point which isn't there.
You know that that childhood Jesus grew up to be this very same Jesus that died on the cross, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, they had the same words, but keep going.
With this example, and the words in Alan Wake, we see the aforementioned concept of logos in full effect. The word is taking physical form. Now, before I link Alan Wake to Shadow of the Colossus, I need to give a little bit of background to the history of the logos concept and how certain religious traditions adopted it, specifically Christianity and alchemy. Before logos became a supernatural force used by God,
alchemy is not a religion. It's a form of mysticism.
It was a proto-science that was trying to change the world and make ourselves godlike.
That also the fact that it was there are a lot of types of alchemy. There's Chinese alchemy, and there's Islamic alchemy, which is the most of the stuff he's talking about. He just doesn't know it's Islamic, but anyhow, keep going.
Although I can't imagine alchemy being very powerful because you're just trying to make new elements from old elements.
You're trying to change people's consciousness by changing one mettle from metal. That's the idea, changing the ideas. Go ahead, play it.
Concept. The earliest use of the term logos was by Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher born in the 6th century BC. When Heraclitus used the term, he used it somewhat ambiguously. The Greek use of the word logos could be translated into English as word, plan, principle.
I'm pretty sure the Bible predates that.
Yeah.
And formula, just to name a few. To most historians, it seems that Heraclitus' use of the word referred to what we would call discourse, the act of people talking in a constructive manner. Heraclitus hinted that the term logos had a...
Did he say B6 AD or 6 BC?
I'm not entirely sure. You could check it up some other time, but I have some Heraclitus in the links in the description, but keep going.
To it. That rational discourse is reflected in the way the universe constructed itself, but nothing is for certain. What is certain is that the Stoic philosophers from the 3rd century BC began to attribute supernatural properties.
Oh yeah, it's BC, so yeah, I have to correct myself.
Yeah.
to the Logos. One Stoic philosopher from the 2nd century BC, Marcus Aurelius, referred to the Logos as seminal reason, or logospermatikos. The root word of both seminal and spermatikos obviously refer to a male seed, which is needed in order to birth a baby. Keep the word seed in mind. We will use it again in a moment. To put it simply, the Stoics were the first people to link language and its ability to order and create to the universe's ability to generate life. The Logos became more than rational discourse. It was the generating, ordering principle of the cosmos. While the primary focus of this video are Alan Wake and Shadow of the Colossus, the Logos as the generative principle of life is seen in other games. If any of you have ever played the game Journey, we see the use of the Logos most clearly in the game's creation.
He really is going deep into this crap. He's one, none of the directors, none of the game designers thought about this. So this is all projection. This is no different than some, high school or, college graduate trying to find sexism, racism, bigotry, and homophobia, or Marxist ideology in pre-Marxist writing.
Although I'm sure this is supposed to be like an argument for an unconscious collective creation.
Exactly. And ultimately, the burden of proof will be on them, but they can never show it because they have to ascribe intent where there is no intent.
On the mountain, which is the game's metaphor for God, and the light takes the form of the game's fictional language. As we clearly see, the language then births the contents of the universe. We also see a subtle reference to Logos in the Talos Principle, a game which I consider to be the most underrated of all time. In this game, the god known as Elohim tells us about the Logos, but calls it by a different name.
These worlds, and we within them, are made of words. Hidden words, invisible to you, yet part of all things.
There is more to the Logos concept beyond the mere transmutation of a word into physical form. We see this most clearly in Christianity and alchemy. After 1 AD, when the Common Era began, the concept of Logos began to be adopted heavily into both Judaism and Christianity. Although it existed prior to that without a name.
Citation needed. Citation fucking needed.
Yes, we would like a citation.
Please.
Old Testament God saying, "Let there be light." Once God mixed light with darkness, he extracted the contents of the universe from it. In Judeo—
No, he didn't. The darkness is literally nothing. He commanded for there to be light, and then there was light, because light is something.
Yeah. But let's continue. Again, I like his stuff. It's entertaining, and it's interesting to just sit back and watch him.
Yeah, but there's just if you have this is very good for people who have no opinions, but for people who do have positions and opinions, wait, that's not how it works.
Exactly, and this is something where you have to be careful about being fucked by other people's words. He talked about the notion of logos spermatikos, whatever it's called. This is the idea of somebody else putting their ideas into your head. The notion of there's a bomb under your fucking. There's like a monster under your bed. Well, to you, if you know what a monster is, it's literally I think it was like in South Park. I think it was the Battle of Imagination or whatever it was. The terrorists captured the world of imagination, and they're making our imagination run wild. That's sort of what the same concept is here. Yeah.
In Christian tradition, this took the form of the 7-day creation myth. In alchemical tradition, the 4 classical elements emerged from the mixture of light and darkness: earth, wind, fire, and water. The mixture of light and darkness in all of creation is not only inherent to Western religion, but also Eastern. We see this emphasized most clearly with the yin-yang symbol, for example. A person, place, or thing can only take form once it has the proper mixture of light and darkness to it. Think of it like a plant. If the word is like a seed—
For those who are fans of Kingdom Hearts, this is great material for seeing the light and darkness as some sort of two materials, but it's just not practical.
Honestly, at the end of the day, you could very well take this anywhere you want, because what you're using binary thinking.
Well, it's dualism. It's dualism. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then the darkness is like the soil. Once the seed/word has been planted in the soil/darkness, it needs water/light in order for it to come to life.
But they're all something. This isn't nothing.
In the case of Alan Wake, we see this alchemical recipe acted out most clearly. The words Alan Wake comes across are the seeds planted in the dark place. Alan Wake supplies the light via his flashlight, and the words take form. With all of this being said, we still have to apply this to Shadow of the Colossus. If any of you watched my most recent video on Shadow of the Colossus, where I also talked about the logos, the connection to Alan Wake should be clear. However, I will establish the connection for the newcomers. The protagonist of Shadow of the Colossus, Wander, uses a weapon known as the Ancient Sword, a weapon that has been forged with light. I theorized in that video that the sword is a metaphor for the Christian logos. I cited several Bible verses in that video.
Citation needed.
Okay. No. No. You don't get to do that. You don't get to play that game with me. No. You don't get to play that game.
Oh, no.
like legitimately, this is what's I don't want to look again. I don't want to bash the guy. I like his content. I love a lot of his content. It's pretty good, but this is like legitimately jumping to conclusion. This is like a patchwork quilt of stimuli. This is chaos magic. This is like literally saying like, oh my God, Bolsonaro's right wing, and there. Oh my God, so was oh my God, so was Churchill, and then now we have to somehow link the two, even though. There are things like, common law. There was common for, English common law, and that in Brazil isn't common law. But right wing. It's semantics. That's what this is. He's doing this on a semantic level, and he's asserting that it's the same logos. It's the same term. Yeah, same word.
Just like Zeitgeist when it said the Son of God SUN SON instead of Son of God SON. It's like saying that Christianity was an early form of sun worship.
Which is retarded.
Linking logos to a sword. I also pointed out that there are various other references to Judeo-Christian tradition in the game, such as the Shrine of Worship, reflecting the biblical story of the Tower of Babel, and how Dorman's name is a reference to King Nimrod from the Bible. Dorman
that is true.
Nimrod spelled backwards.
That is actually true. That actually, we can confirm that through the fandom, but also through actual interviews with the people who invented Shadow of the Colossus. That is true.
The Tower of the
Demon. What's up?
The Tower of the Demon.
The demon Nimrod. A lot of this stuff is again, it's been verified by the freaking the actual source material. So yeah, it has. But in any case, keep going.
Importantly, however, I pointed out how the mixture of light and darkness brought forward tangible form. At the end of Shadow of the Colossus, Lord Emon drops the ancient sword into a pool of water. Wander's shadow falls into the pool of water and mixes with the light in the sword. With the mixture of light and dark, the sword extracted a form. That, of course, was Wander reincarnated as a baby. So, let us recap. When Alan Wake is in the dark place, he comes across various words. Alan shines light on the word.
But I thought the light cancels out the darkness. I thought that was the point.
Yeah, but here's like, if you really want to play this game with the Alan Wake thing, you could very well say it's an allegory of the cave. Like you're in the cave and then you see shadows, right? But if you shine light on on what you think is there, it corrects it, right? So, like, we'll get into the allegory of the cave later on, maybe. I don't know. It's not linked in the description, so I kind of don't want to look it up right now.
They take tangible form. The mixture of light and darkness with the word is like the mixture of soil and water with the seed. In Shadow of the Colossus, Wander's dark half mixes with the light of the ancient sword, and the sword extracts baby Wander. The only difference, really, between the two examples is that in Alan Wake, the logos takes the form of a word, and in Shadow of the Colossus, it takes the form of a sword. But even then, it isn't really a difference because the logos is both the word and the sword. As I said before with Heraclitus giving several meanings to the word logos, human beings give it several forms, but they all share the same purpose.
They all share the same word. Yes. They all share the same word. You don't get to describe the purpose to people.
Especially it's translating English to Greek.
Yeah, and this is the reason why I kind of, as much as I champion etymology and champion going to the Septuagint and going into like the Vulgate and even like the King James version, you still have to bring it back to the present. Okay, it's one thing to get the knowledge; it's another thing to translate that knowledge into rhetoric that actually people can understand.
It's kind of like the problem that Islam has, where the Quran can only be properly interpreted in Arabic, but only like a handful of people can read Arabic.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots.
It's been ascribed to the logos. Water. It is no accident that the ancient sword had to mix with Wander's shadow in a pool of water. It is no accident that Jesus Christ, who is viewed as the physical incarnation of the Logos, had water pour from his side when he was stabbed with a lance after his crucifixion. If you would like to learn more about that, I suggest you go watch the aforementioned video I did on Shadow of the Colossus. I'll link to it in the description box below and modify the link so you can skip straight to the part about the water.
The one thing I will say about this whole Logos talk is that you could basically, just like how you could put up a bunch of hyperlinks with, this is the logos, this is the logos, this is logos, this is logos. You could probably make a lot of money and a lot of ad revenue on videos just by saying, well, go to this video, go to this video, go to this video, and then explains the logos here and there. It really honestly is a perfect marketing gimmick. You're marketing the logos to people, but
like you said, it's like a more of a positive analogy to the negative of the racism is here, racism is there, racism is everywhere.
Well, yeah, and the sad part here is that there's a logos behind communism as well. And a lot of this stuff, yeah, seriously. If we're going to get into the whole idealization, and then you say, well, that wasn't real communism. That wasn't the real logos. That wasn't the real. Do you see how dangerous this shit gets?
Oh, yeah, I see now.
Now you understand why I keep bashing E. Michael Jones, why I keep fucking just smashing Bill 9, the trad guy, whatever the hell his name is,
EJ
Bill Nye.
The Trad Catboy.
Yeah, EJ the Cat way. Yeah. But yeah, but it's pretty much done for now. I want to go on to the next video because he does talk. We talk about Heraclitus in this next clip here. Give me 1 second. Logos' second form, because I started saying, well, this is even my final form, because that's basically what that's basically the argument. It is. This is even the Logos' final form. He always has a bigger form. It's like, this isn't even my final form. It isn't.
Frieza.
Yeah, it's like Frieza or some shit. It's like Dragon Ball Z-ing this motherfucker. But in any case,
where 5 minutes becomes a whole season.
I'm not going to go too deep into this whole thing, but I really want people to get
again.
it. We're going there because guess what? These are primary sources. This is what what Heraclitus actually said.
Is it really?
This is what. Yeah, we're going there. We're doing it.
Here we go.
Socrates Lecture 3, Heraclitus. In this lecture, we will discuss the life and ideas of Heraclitus, one of the more famous and perhaps the most enigmatic of the pre-Socratics. Heraclitus was born in approximately 540 BC in the Greek city of Ephesus. Of all the pre-Socratics, the ideas of Heraclitus are the most difficult to understand. Ancient philosophers struggled mightily in attempting to decipher his paradoxical aphorisms, and subsequently nicknamed him the Riddler and the Dark.
Oh God!
There's a story that when Socrates was asked what he thought of Heraclitus' book, he replied,
"Fucking Batman, this fucker! Riddle me this!"
Oh no, no, not Riddler, Gollum. Riddles in the Dark.
Oh God! Oh my God! That's all we need is some asshole trying to find out what the Logos was behind Bilbo's fucking journey. Oh my God!
What I understood was fine.
Hold on, hang on. Was the one ring to rule them all the one Logos to rule them all? One Logos to find them, one Logos to bind them, you know?
Oh no. Let's not even start with that.
Let's that's
and no doubt also what I didn't understand. But it needs a diver to get to the bottom of it. It is likely that Heraclitus intentionally shrouded his ideas in obscurity, for he thought anything of value must be obtained through hard work and effort. Those who seek gold, he wrote, dig much earth and find a little. Ancient sources report that Heraclitus was of royal descent, and that in fact he was in line to become the king of Ephesus. However, he declined his right to the throne, passing it on to his brother. He saw no value in governing the masses, towards whom he held a strong aversion, and instead decided to spend his life in the lonely search for truth and wisdom.
But enough about you, Michael Jones.
Yeah, this little clip of play of Socrates reminds me of why pre-Socrates philosophers aren't really that useful.
Again, he's a fucking... This guy sounds like a mystic already, but keep playing.
Perhaps you are not prepared to take a class at this level, sir. Perhaps you have not completed the prerequisites. Did you take demythologizing scripture? Did you take comparative religion? For goodness sake, did you take logic?
Take it, I gave it to the world.
But in any case...
Heraclitus was playing dice with children in the streets of Ephesus, and bewildered at his apparent immaturity, some politicians asked him what he was doing, upon which he quipped, "Why are you surprised, you good-for-nothings? Isn't it better than playing politics with you?"
Oh,
it would be safe.
Well, there's some truth to that in some ways.
He was a misanthrope. Oh, this is wonderful.
An aristocrat misanthrope.
Fucking me, Michael Jones.
A wealthy person who hated the company of others.
Alrighty.
I used to classify Heraclitus as an aristocrat and a misanthropist. Most men are useless and ignorant conformists, he thought, and it is a waste of time paying any attention to the banter of the masses, just as it is useless to attend to the noises of sheep. It is only the rare and unique individual who has any worth. One man is to me 10,000, if he be the best, he wrote.
Oh, a little objectivism going on here.
Truth is common.
Part of Heraclitus' disdain for the masses was due to their blindness towards the truth. Heraclitus thought there was a single principle, or what he called the logos, which permeated all of reality, and which could be discerned by man if he made an effort to understand it. As such, Heraclitus thought that truth was common, as this logos, which unveiled the truth regarding the nature of all things, literally exists everywhere, ordering and structuring reality. In other words, Heraclitus held that this logos expresses an objective truth. Despite the logos being common or objective, Heraclitus thought that most individuals were too dim-witted to understand it.
You just don't get it, man. You just don't understand. Communism's never been tried, man.
Well, there is another perspective on this.
Really?
I do believe that the truth is objective, and our subjective preferences can lead us to that. But I'm not sure if that's where he's going with this.
Well, let's continue then.
Logos is common, he wrote. Men live as if they had a private understanding of their own.
Yeah, they actually do. The Bible says every man walks according in a way that's right to him.
Yep.
In other words, most men live in their own petty and constricted reality tunnel. perceiving the world through their own illusory private beliefs, desires,
That's just called,
insecurities, and
fuck
opinions.
you, that's just called
Blinds
false
them.
class consciousness. That's bourgeois talk. But I'm telling you, this is like the type of Marxist bullshit that these, like, I swear to God, everything, you know, I think it was Tay Spaghetti, you know, Vox Day, who said that everything boils down to, you know, Aristotle versus Plato. It kind of really does, doesn't it?
Yep.
Shit. And divine truth, which nourishes and orders all things.
Because there could technically be some truth to that, providing that the objective truth is real and not what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Because like if you're only lecturing people what they think it is to lead them to the communist revolution, well, you're kind of useless as a philosopher.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The masses, forever remaining ignorant of the common truth which pervades all things, spend their days sleepwalking. Heraclitus condemned this ignorance.
That false
Other men are
consciousness,
unaware of what they
man.
do while awake, just as they forget what they do when asleep. How does one wake from their spiritual slumber and seize this divine truth? Such a task, thought Heraclitus, one must perform on one's own. An understanding of the Logos cannot be obtained through academic study, nor by listening to the teachings of a philosopher. The best that one who knows the truth can do is point to it, but ultimately the individual must see the truth through his own eyes. While all the other pre-Socratics erected philosophical systems by building on the ideas of their predecessors, Heraclitus arrived at his ideas solely through inner contemplation. I searched myself, he explained in the opening of his book. The philosopher Diogenes reverberated this idea. He was no man's disciple, but said that he had searched himself and learned everything from himself. Heraclitus' vision of reality.
I'm conflicted about this. Because honestly, I feel like I should disagree with him, but I also know that institutionalized truth can be misleading.
Yeah, this is one of those instances where everyone becomes their own pope. This is one of those instances where, like, yeah, it sounds great until you start realizing this is basically solipsism.
Oh, where solipsism can't even get past itself.
Yeah.
Is encapsulated in 3 different intertwined ideas.
Like, one of the great truths a person can realize is that, yeah, you can't disprove solipsism, but you have to at least past solipsism to find any truth in reality.
Yep.
Everything is in flux. The world is an ever-living fire, and war is the father of all. Heraclitus is perhaps most famous for his river statement. Into the same river, it is not possible to step twice, he wrote. This statement is not merely an observation about rivers, but instead is symbolic of the nature of reality. The first-century philosopher Plutarch expounded this point. According to Heraclitus, it is not possible to step into the same river twice, nor lay hold twice of any mortal substance in one permanent state. The universe, thought Heraclitus, and everything in it, is constantly in flux. Every object, even though it may appear to our senses as being temporarily stable and permanent, is in fact in constant motion, morphing and transforming itself into a different object each instant. This idea has profound consequences for philosophical thought. For if nothing remains the same for 2 instants, then knowledge of the sensible world is an impossibility. For even if one could obtain knowledge of something in 1 instant, a mere second later that thing will have changed, rendering...
Mathematics doesn't.
Exactly. And this is sort of like where we start playing with variables. Because that's really the problem here, is that I'm trying to find out what people are actually talking about, but they keep trying to obfuscate by using bullshit terminology. And instead of me just saying, you know what, no, you're going to use that term for that idea only, and then you'll use a different idea, and that way we all have different ideas that are spread out and they all are isolated from each other. There's no mission creep on any of them. This is one. Remember how I talked about how the the memory leak? What is it called? The memory leak. It is a buffer overflow attack. Remember how I told you about how people can look too deep into it and there's multiple different terms for the same thing? Like, we want to serve man. Instead of, trying to help people, you're trying to serve them for dinner, right? Same concept. No, seriously, this is the same concept. This is the reason why I want people to have one word for one thing. One word for one thing. This is where we have to start discriminating against people and more importantly, ideas.
Or at the very least, the one meaning for one thing.
Yep. One meaning for one thing.
Bring that knowledge obsolete. Along with the fact that if everything is in flux, it is impossible to arrive at any knowledge of anything, Heraclitus' flux doctrine can also stimulate nihilistic despair. For if everything in this world is eternally rolling on in a ceaseless flux, it follows that everything we value and all the spectacular human achievements which we take pride in and derive meaning from will ultimately decay into dust. The ancient Mesopotamians were aware of this grim idea. Mere man, his days are numbered. Whatever he may do, he is but wind. Connected with Heraclitus' flux doctrine is his claim the world is
I mean, the book of Ecclesiastes actually does this very... Oh, no, am I the right book? Old Testament book? Yeah, Ecclesiastes talks about how hopeless and meaningless life is, but it does end on one note that the only meaningful thing in life is fear God and keep his commandments.
Yeah.
Vanity of vanity, all is vanity.
Yeah.
An ever-living fire. There is much debate regarding exactly what Heraclitus meant by this statement. Some have taken a more conservative approach and claimed that it was meant merely as a symbolic description of the world. Since everything is engaged in a continual flux, then fire serves as an apt symbol for the ceaseless change that is occurring, even in objects which appear stable and at rest. However, there is evidence to suggest that Heraclitus in fact was aiming at something more with his statement, "The world is an ever-living fire." The Stoics, who were heavily influenced by Heraclitus, identified fire with the Logos, and claimed that the fire of Heraclitus permeated all things.
I thought the fire
and
was
rational
hold
and
on,
responsible for the government of the whole.
Back up. I thought the fire. Didn't we just hear the fire was built off of like water, and that's why when Jesus got shanked by the Roman soldier, he was basically spilling out water. It's almost as if like there's no, when you start jumping to conclusions and putting your rhetoric before your grammar, you start bumping into this type of crap. It's really weird. Well, it was always burning since the world. I wonder
since the world's been turning.
Yeah, apparently according to Heraclitus, but yeah.
World.
Although we didn't light it, we're trying to fight it.
Oh yes, we are.
Heraclitus also stated that.
Or sometimes people are trying to start now when it's almost quelled out.
The man's soul is fire, and that when an individual exercises and cultivates his most divine feature, his reason, then his soul becomes pure fire, hot and dry. The dry soul is wisest and best, he wrote. And just as the dry and hot soul is best, he claimed that to have a wet soul is the worst for man. A man when he is drunk stumbles and is led by a beardless boy, not knowing whither he goes, for his soul is wet.
Sounds sucks to be Christ.
Or drunk. Rather.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that about Christ?
Well, I mean, again, this is the problem when we start just listening to people and just accepting every single fucking thing they say. Max started talking about how, the Logos was identified with water. And now he's saying, according to the original citations of the guy who used the term Logos, Heraclitus, the wet soul is the worst soul. So that basically just means that the Son of God, the Son of Man, literally is the worst soul.
Why do you say that? I mean,
well, because
analogy, it could be that sober souls are wiser and drunk souls are dumber.
Yeah, but Christ, remember Christ got stabbed in the chest and then water poured out. Therefore, he was the living embodiment of Logos. So the worst Logos, I should say. I mean, I could probably say that, I don't know. Keep going.
It signifies that when an individual dies, their soul turns to water. For it is death to soul.
When people die, their souls turn to water?
I thought it was like 21 grams or something. But
yeah, water comes forth
to become water, and death to water to become earth. But water comes from earth, and from water, soul. This
wait. Okay, a word puzzle. If it is death to souls to become water, and death to water to become earth, but water comes from earth, and from water soul. So it's like de-evolution spiritually, and
I think that probably sounds better in the original Greek. Okay, let's keep going.
So when a soul dies, it becomes water, then it becomes earth. But when it comes back to life, it goes from earth to water to soul again. I guess.
So, Simba, you have to understand. We don't eat the grass. The antelopes eat the grass, and we eat the antelope, and therefore it's the great circle of life. Simba. That's basically what he's saying. But yeah.
Leads us into the final idea of Heraclitus's we will consider. War is the father of all. War is the father of all and king of all, Heraclitus stated. Everything that comes into existence, Heraclitus thought, does so only through the destruction of something else. Fire lives the death of air, and air of fire. Water lives the death of earth, earth that of water. Other Greeks thought the elements and things in this world were engaged in a sort of war, so to speak. However, they called this war evil, and longed for a stable and permanent reality where peace and rest reigned supreme. Heraclitus was unique, for he envisioned the war and strife which all things in the world are engaged in as good. Strife is justice, he wrote.
Oh yeah, the eternal
revolution
dialectic, where thesis meets antithesis and becomes synthesis.
That's kind of really. It's kind of weird that you say that, because that's kind of what the whole Logos shit is. It's kind of Marxism. It's philosophical Marxism. Oh. It really is.
Not only did Heraclitus think that all elements and things in this world were engaged in a war with all other things, but each object, each living thing, he thought, is constituted by opposing forces in tension. To explain this idea, some scholars have used a strung bow as an example to illustrate how all things are made of opposing forces, and hence subject to internal tension. As William Guthrie explained in his first volume of A History of Greek Philosophy, look at a strung bow lying on the ground or leaning against a wall. No movement is visible. To the eyes it appears a static object, completely at rest. But in fact, a continuous tug of war is going on within it, as will become evident if the string is not strong enough or is allowed to perish. The bow will immediately take advantage, snap it, and leap to straighten itself, thus showing that each had been putting forth effort all the time. The harmonia was a dynamic one of vigorous and contrary motions, neutralized by equilibrium and so unapparent.
These philosophers have their heads so far up their own ass.
It's been my experience that people who try to analogize or synthesize the present and the future are wasting their time and justifying the worst of atrocities.
Yep.
Since everything is in flux, for Heraclitus, any apparent harmony conceals an underlying strife.
Oh yes, our peaceful society has underlying racism to it.
This actually might be interesting because now we're going to get into Jordanetics type levels of shit.
To conclude this lecture, we will close with a quote by Nietzsche, who was heavily influenced by the ideas of Heraclitus. Nietzsche took Heraclitus' idea that all things are constituted by opposing and warring forces, and applied this idea to the nature of human beings. In our culture, it is common to think of the good or even the great individual as one who has overcome their strong and evil passions and cultivated internal peace and harmony. The good individual is one who is devoid of internal tension, or so it is commonly believed. In Heraclitean fashion, Nietzsche strongly disagreed with this assumption. The great individual, he thought, is one who is constituted by a strong internal division, where evil and good passions are engaged in battle with each other. It is through this battle, he thought, that one develops strength, insight, and wisdom. A passage contained in The Will to Power conveys the influence Heraclitus had on the development of the ideas of Nietzsche.
I don't think. Oh, hang on. Isn't The Will to Power like the one book that Nietzsche wrote when he was going insane, and it was like only a notebook? It wasn't ever meant to be. It wasn't ever meant to be published because he was going insane. It was just like a scripts of notes, and then the Nazis put together and said, "Oh, this is what Nietzsche was saying," right?
Possibly.
I think that might have been it. I think that like it was one of those books right before Nietzsche died that was never meant to be published that the Nazis manipulated and just put together. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's The Will to Power. But in any case.
The essential point is, the greatest perhaps also possess great virtues, but in that case also their opposites. I believe that it is precisely through the presence of opposites and the feelings they occasion that the great man, the bow with a great tension, develops.
Yeah, so again, this is one of the reasons why I'll just say it. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't make this about, if you're going to say Jesus, say Jesus. If you're going to say reason, say reason. If you're going to say, fire, say fire. Don't try to say, the magical logos, the magic, shiny words, academic language,
I'd love to bring back the insights of a Catholic, please, for this.
Actors like Del Toro are frequently reaching backwards to the 30s and 50s to get their movie villains. But reactionaries understand that no such final resolution to evil will ever occur. It is a natural process. Human beings return to evil. Human beings return to wickedness because it's their nature. And in every status quo, in every modern society, we have the seeds and guilt of past events, which will flower forth into new acts of evil in the future. We cannot reform this away. And while society might progress technologically, we are stuck in the cycle of the fall of man. And this generates the instinct for horror, the knowledge that there are monsters, that men are monsters, that the history of man is monstrous and will continue to be monstrous.
Yeah. So Media Hit says, I was kind of listening. Did they mention Aristotle? I didn't hear his name. They never mentioned Aristotle. He was pre-Socratic. So that's something you got to watch out for as well. People are going to try to inject Aristotle or Plato into it. And yes, Media Hits confirms this. Yes, The Will to Power was published by his sister. So it wasn't even fucking Nietzsche saying this. Again, I hate to be the guy who keeps being the guy who busts people's bubble, but I guess that's what I'm used for. We're already 40 minutes in, so let's wrap this shit up. That was only the first fucking topic.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, but now we're gonna go into something more interesting. Catboy nationalism.
Again?
Oh yeah, we're going into Catboy nationalism because this is the record of the Logo Swarm, don't you know? And this is the Chronicles of the Histrionic Catboy. Supposedly, Nick Fuentes supposedly is in the closet. Supposedly he's gay. Supposedly all this stuff. Again, supposedly. I've oftentimes tell people, that picture says it all. Yeah, I'll just say it. You know, when I say saving the West is a side quest, this is part of why that is. If I ever see any of you motherfuckers wearing, I guess that's a maid outfit, like a female maid outfit, and this guy's straight, by the way. He's totally straight, from what I understand. If I see you doing this type of crap, you're gonna if your boss finds out about this, you're gonna get fired. Okay, you're gonna get fired. You're not gonna go up in the company because no one wants to have the one guy that's, you know, is dressed as a fucking French maid. And again, this is detrimental to your long-term economic and sociological health. Okay,
or at the very least, they'll knock you down to a point where it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're working in the fucking, you know, warehouse or something.
Assembly lines, the warehouses, all that stuff.
Yeah. But apparently, you know,
he is way too old to be doing this.
He is.
He's way too muscular. He's way too old to be doing this stuff.
I really think, you know, he's one. I feel like, don't get me wrong. Do you think that? Because I'll just say this: when I first saw what was his name? Nick Fuentes. I got a very bad Patrick Bateman vibe off him. Like Americans. No, like he reminds me of American Psycho, like Christian Bale's character, and this guy kind of reminds me of that as well.
Should I post under the window? Oh yeah, sure.
And of course, the fucking.
I don't know why I like it so much, eh?
And again, he's just trying to be edgy and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, how is this helping the movement? Like, you could say whatever you want about Charlie Kirk hanging out with transsexuals and a bunch of other shit, like Lady Maga. This is basically the same fucking thing. The difference here is that, you know, it's not Charlie Kirk.
What movement is he for?
Apparently, Nick Fuentes and all him, they're all pro free speech. He's red-pilling people. He's red-pilling the normies and all this other junk.
Oh, how is hanging out with this guy helpful to the movement?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how is anal sex supposed to help the movement? That's what the Kuipers said. But I gotta ask you this: how is, you know, dressing up as a fucking Catboy supposed to help the movement?
I mean, do I have to walk in a gay pride parade to be pro free speech?
No, you don't. You know, Media Hit says Catboy must be rich. Lots of FU money. Where does he care? Where does he care if he can't get a job? Yeah, again, he's not going to get a job. And a lot of these people are, you know, I said it before and I'll say it again. A lot of these people are doing the same thing that the SJWs did back in 2014. They were, you know, living off of hipster welfare, which is Patreon. I will never have a Patreon. I don't want to get a Patreon. I want to, if you want to give me money, you have my PayPal link. You can give me money there. You know, it may be a little bit harder, but guess what? I'll accept it if you want it. If you want to give it to me, fine. But I'm not going to have Patreon. That's hipster welfare. DCD says he just is a wannabe Filthy Frank edgelord. You know, you might be right about that. At least Filthy Frank had a fucking music career. But keep going.
Having a milk stream. Don't you love it how I'm just like hanging around the house, just chilling? Then all of a sudden someone's just like, milk stream! Hell yeah, fuck it, dude, let's go.
Why are you going
Who
outside?
touched you? Who touched you?
Why are you going outside in that?
Because he's a, you know, honestly, I won't be surprised if one day he gets busted for indecent exposure or something.
I hope he's in the backyard.
Well, he does get arrested in this clip, and I want people to you know, if those of you can't read between the lines, he gets arrested.
Oh,
Keep
no
going.
Way.
Gonna get picked up? I don't know, should we try? So should I ask, what's your name?
Pardon?
What's your name?
Zoe.
Nice to meet you, Zoe. I'm Cammy.
Hi. Not the address that I would have walking to a train station.
I didn't think I'd be going off to chug 4 liters of milk today, but you know, it's like...
Sometimes
What?
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly
What?
right.
Want me to slow it down a bit?
Who is this man's audience? That's what, again, people who don't want to take anything seriously, nihilists, I'd say. People who want to, you know, they don't want to just say they're nihilists. They want to say, oh, well, you know, I'm not a nihilist. I believe in the lulls and all this other shit. You know, that's all fine and dandy, but you have to live a life,
Well, it's
you
more
know.
like a circus freak show than anything else.
Like, honestly, if he wore a plastic bag over his head, or like, not a plastic bag, like a fucking paper bag, so like to hide his face, I get it. That'd be fine. But, you know, again, this guy's putting himself out there. There are going to be people who will not hire him because of this. This is bad. This is bad for, like I said, for his economic, financial health. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, If you,
God, he has an iPhone.
even if you can't get some milk today, you should like add me on Instagram and then just message me.
I would never. The fact that you have an Instagram, you know, I have an Instagram just because, you know,
Well,
at the
it's
same
up,
time it's for
LOL.
thoughts. Why do you think this guy has an Instagram? Like, do you think he's the kind of asshole who fucking orders from fucking it's Etsy or some stupid fucking Wish to get his cosplay crap? Because I'll tell you this, I don't have money to cosplay, and even then, I would cosplay as a fucking, you know, Boogaloo boy or something. But I'm not gonna cosplay as a freaking, you know, cat thing. I'm gonna scruff him.
No, all you guys are idiots. No, so not everywhere is fucking California.
You could fool me.
You could have fucking fooled me, you fucking limey
Where
pansy.
does this guy live anyway?
Australia. So he's basically California's, you know, I don't know. Keep playing.
Why?
California's so good.
Have you been?
No.
Have you seen? Like, it's not all the rich upper class white neighborhoods. Most of it's basically Mexico 2.0.
He's not wrong there.
Some of it is, some of it isn't. But I think it's more of the landscape, to be honest. I think the landscape is more Mexico 2.0. But that's only because of our Catholic history, by the way, of having like San Juan Bautista, San Rafael, and, you know, places that actually had history.
What was that movie, Elysium? Where we had the huge contrast between the super rich on a spaceship and the super poor on Earth.
Oh yeah, that's Elysium.
Yeah, that's Los Angeles in certain areas.
Now, Bekalov says we must secure the existence of our white Catboys. Yes.
We'll see you later. Alright, here we go. We're at the store, chat. Let's get ourselves some milk.
The fact that have you no shame? You fucking histrionic motherfucker.
Well, I mean, it's no one's around. I mean, it's hardly anybody there.
Well, it's Australia. That's a big place, but keep going.
I mean, still, like, are they in lockdown as well?
I think so.
I see the milk. I see the milk, chat. Alright, we got it.
$5.60.
Look.
This is disgusting.
Let's go.
God, he reminds me of a friend I used to have. I knew. Can we like screen cap that shit? Screen cap that. If you're not gonna screen cap it, I will. That is the boomer versus the Gen Zer, and people are like, oh, millennials are bad. No. Gen Zers are fucked at this point, and I hate to be the guy who says it.
Wait, so what camera is he using?
I think he's using his iPhone camera. I really don't know.
But I mean, if that's his phone, then what's looking at him? Oh.
That's a very good question.
He's gonna drink the milk right there.
This guy is a fucking like sexual abuse victim or something. I really honestly think there's something deep seated in his psyche. Like he thinks this is normalized.
I mean, it's one thing to just do that on a normal day, but dressed up as a cat maid in the middle of town. Like if you're just thirsty, you're like, oh, I need some milk right now. Gulp, gulp.
Yeah, but keep playing.
You want some milk, bro? I wish it was warm.
I want to fucking call Child Protective Services. This guy is fucked in the head. Why are you doing this?
You can stop now. Smile.
What? Everyone else thinks I've got this, right?
This is disgusting. Why do you do this, you fucking histrionic motherfucker? And then no, this is histrionic. Yeah, exactly. He's trying to get a reaction. He's a little piece of shit. He's just, you know, people talk about Charlie Kirk or Candace Owen. This guy's the same fucking type.
The trash can's right next to you, dude.
Yeah, he's gonna $5 says he gets busted for littering.
Let's go. Oh god. Oh god.
You better not use a diaper, you fuck. If I see this motherfucker in a diaper, ugh, get his ass institutionalized.
Oh, come on. Milk doesn't have that effect on you.
Not if you drink the whole fucking thing. On an empty stomach, no less. Don't.
Hey, beautiful.
Shut up.
Oh, no. Oh.
Oh. Fuck you, you sick histrionic Catboy.
That's not even sexy when women do it.
It's not, and he's gonna smell like dried milk in a few hours in that fucking hot Arizonan sun. And you're gonna look at, like, seriously, have you smelt what dried milk smells like? It smells like fucking piss. It legit, like, he's gonna smell like a fucking hobo, but he's gonna look like a fucking cat mate. Like, ugh. The hero of the West, ladies and gentlemen. Is he like drunk?
Is he drunk on the milk?
No, like, is he like drunk? Like, he was drunk or high? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's on fucking amphetamines or something.
Oh boy.
I just want to go home, shit. I just want to go home.
Well, it's in walking distance.
This is like if I fucking bought a bunch of Mountain Dew and
I
just.
hope you come and clean up this mess.
Yeah, because she knows it's gonna smell like piss in a fucking few hours.
Yay! 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 Yay!
This guy's autistic.
Yay! 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 I'm surprised I haven't already vomited. Yay! 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 I want to die. Ugh. Oh, fuck. There's no holes in my sock.
I fucking hate Stuart Little. I know what you're thinking. This is some kind of funny joke. But no. Stuart Little is a piece of shit. A damn rat got picked over actual children.
Oh, God.
Well,
fuck.
Yeah, the cops are here. Again, saving the West is the side quest.
Yeah, not bad. I'm just walking home.
He's here. Hashtag.
My notification. Sorry.
Can you hold that? I'll just hold this one.
Cool.
I kind of want to get Brother John in here to like do a psychoanalysis of this guy. If John Collins is in the fucking chat, or if he's like watching this, please come in. I'd very much like to see you actually like diagnose this guy. He's definitely histrionic from what I see. Keep playing.
There's a muscly guy walking in like hot pants and a maid's outfit.
Yeah.
And he's poured milk all over himself. Oh, okay. But what I might do, if you're happy for me to, I might just, are you happy to come with me just to show me where it is in my car, and I'll drop you home. Sounds good to me. Yeah.
I want daddy's cummies. I want daddy's cummies. I want daddy's cummies. I want.
Is this edited in or live?
This is live. He's doing this live.
How's he adding that though? Is that?
I think it's like a stream thing. Like if people like pay money and they could say whatever the fuck they want. Again,
like I say, it's like the notification. Alright, I'll wait in the car then, eh?
Yeah.
All good. All good.
You know,
I will suck your cock if you don't arrest me. Ooh woo.
Where it says caution wet floor, that's it right there.
Okay.
Officer, can you change the music?
Now you probably get it a lot for the whole can I be let off with a warning spiel. But I mean,
Getting pounded by a man in a cop uniform has been my wildest dreams, oh whoa.
That's the only reason.
You know, the people who are gonna have the last laugh are his audience. And again, I feel bad for this guy. Part of you wants to laugh at him, but there's only so many times you can laugh and then say, "Guy, you're ruining your life. You're destroying yourself. What the fuck?"
I feel the same way about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
It's only going to be an infringement ticket.
Well, to be fair, Biden already had his fucking chance. This guy is still young.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Yep.
Subway 100 boneless 10 officer Amanda hug and kiss. Officer, can you please not give him a ticket? He will suck your cock if you do not. You give the best sloppy tap, or you should just run from the cop. Subway 100 bonus 10 milk and swamp pass. Good times.
Yeah, the cop gets it.
The cop understands the guy's just being an asshole. He's not actually a threat to anybody. But Nick Fuentes had a response to this. He talked about Catboy Cammy. And this is I will put that up. And it really honestly is, like, again, I really feel like, I'll just say it, Nick Fuentes to me is the type of guy who's only masquerading as a trad cat. This guy to me is Patrick fucking Bateman. Like, I don't know what it is with the white nationalist aesthetic when it comes to leaders and what have you. But I swear to you, they always pick the Patrick Bateman to be the fucking leader of their movement. I don't know what it is.
I mean, isn't that the whole point of your examination of white nationalism connected to Satanism?
You know, I don't know. I mean, the whole purpose, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. Because my whole purpose of why I said that was just because it was. I don't know if this guy is a Satanist or not. I don't know. I'll tell you this, though. There are certain people I've seen within the right, and certain people I've actually seen, you know, hang out with some of our groups here, who definitely have, you know, satanic leanings. And they may not be overtly satanic, but they definitely believe in the whole nihilistic bullshit that people believe, that they believe in.
Catboy
So I'd be very, yeah.
Catboy turns the tables on Murdoch. How?
Yeah, let's look at it.
Murdoch is 10 times better than that.
Says Catboy Cammy has more Telegram subscribers than you. Yeah, I saw that. So I don't know what that's all about. It means that you should subscribe to my Telegram. You're embarrassing me. I think he has like a lot more subscribers than me. He has like 6,000 more subscribers than me. So it's kind of embarrassing. My own fan base won't even support me. But no, I'm just joking.
He also has a better business card. He has like a better business card with better embroidering letters on it, and it actually has actual good textures. Fuck.
Oh my god.
No, seriously, he reminds me of the fucking Patrick Bateman in this fucker. Like he's gonna kill I don't know, somebody with a fucking axe.
Which, you know, I have to say, it will be very interesting to see the extent to which he can survive off of every major platform. And I will be watching with great interest about that alone. Because here you have a guy who went viral.
Well, I have no doubt that he's going to go on forever as long as the media will allow him to.
Oh, absolutely. As long as his body allows him to as well.
Millions of views. And he went viral on the mainstream platforms because other people were posting about him, concern trolling about him. This is a guy that never had a massive following on one of the major platforms. He got deplatformed from all of them before he could build that, right? He's off of Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, even D Live. He's off of everything. And yet he has gone viral in spite of that. You know, millions of views, like I said, because people are posting his content. You know, third parties are posting his content to say, look at how bad this guy is, look at how evil this guy is. And as a result, he's built up this nomadic following on Telegram or on Discord or on various platforms. He'll make a YouTube channel, it gets banned, he makes another one. So I am very interested.
Yeah. I get it, Nick. You know, there's no such thing as bad press. What's your point?
The thickness of it. Oh my god. It even has a watermark.
You could tell he's that type of guy. Like he's like, oh my god, I need to have the right type of, you know, suit. I have to have play it.
His following will sustain itself without, like I said, having like a major base on a major platform or even on an alternative platform. You know, who knows even how long he'll last on Telegram. So I think a lot of people should be looking at that as a case study and maybe what's possible in dissidence in the future. Because what I said, I think, maybe a few months ago, is that maybe the next phase for us is if we get banned off all the major platforms, we can create alternative platforms, and that'll be a place where we organize and rally and maybe post information, but still using the mainstream platforms.
Are we fighting a defensive war here? No. Let's back this fuck up. Let's back this up for a second. There are people out there who don't want to affiliate with you because you're just being edgy. This is one of those instances where I would never want to be around this Catboy guy, simply because I don't want to be affiliated with someone like that. So why the fuck would somebody like him? Because I'll just say it, Fuentes would be the type of guy who would run for Congress, for president, for senator, for governor, for mayor. He's the type of guy who would come off. He dresses to impress to be like that.
But he has to run as a Democrat, so this never haunts him.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem here is that, I really think the dissident right just wants to LARP as Democrats and be they want to basically be the SJW. I really think they never want to solve anything. They just want to have all the privileges and everything that the SJWs have. And they want to act like SJWs, but they want to be safe from criticism and what have you.
As if that helps.
No, it won't.
But there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. And though I can hide my cold gaze, and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there.
Yeah, Beckloff says he said he wanted to die. I also want him to do that. Yeah, let me just say this. I'd rather see him in the fucking psych ward before I have him die. But that's just me.
In other words, we're kind of using an alternative platform, a proprietary platform, as a launch pad for streams or content or campaigns on Twitter, on Facebook. So let's say he makes catboycami.com and he goes there to post, okay, I'm doing a stream at this YouTube channel. Check it out before it's banned. I'm gonna make this Twitter account. Follow me here. And that is a springboard to use, and that's how you kind of get the best of both worlds. It'll be interesting to see how he's able to do that. But I have to say I'm totally vindicated on the Catboy Cami thing. Do you remember the Catboy Cami thing 6 months ago? And everybody was attacking me. Everybody who had a problem with me, this was their excuse to go after me. This was their, and that's the only thing that anybody can say about me, by the way, right? Young, handsome, successful, talented, brilliant, humble. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, we've had this movement that is rock solid.
This guy is fucking Patrick Bateman. He's fucking Patrick Bateman. He's mini Patrick Bateman. What the fuck?
Well, Patrick Bateman wasn't nearly as entertaining.
Yeah.
He had no sense of humor about him.
Yeah, but even then, I haven't actually laughed at anything have I laughed at anything that Fuentes has said? Not really.
So well. And finally, everybody just agrees to say, we'll just call him gay. We'll just make something up and call him gay. Right? And that was like their only thing. I've been at this for years, and the only thing that has come back that they like as an insult is, he ate his boogers, and Catboy. Both retarded, both fake and dumb and juvenile. But everybody's like, Catboy this, Catboy that. And now here we are 6 months later. And even some of my friends turned on me for this. I mean, not a lot of them, but a handful. And, I'm sure the Wignats got their kicks in and everything, and here we are 6 months later. And people at the time were saying, how could this possibly be part of the plan? What could possibly be the explanation for this? You fucked up, Nick. You messed up. And it's like, how dare you? How dare you not trust the plan? How dare you?
What is the plan?
It's just some fucking meme that's just basically an excuse to get away with murder at this point. Just trust the plan. Just trust that the revolution is going to be okay, comrade. It's going to be okay. Trust the revolution.
No one's ever worried when things are going according to plan. Even the plan is horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
Whatever. The plan doesn't exist at this point. I don't even know what it is. Like,
yeah.
Is there a plan?
No, there is dealing with. I'm literally always vindicated. You think you know how this works better than I do? Trust the plan. Trust the plan every time, always. I remember 6 months ago, people were telling me, how could this possibly be part of the plan? Yeah. Well, welcome to my 5-dimensional mind. Welcome to my 100-dimension foresight. I'm 1,000 moves ahead of everybody else.
No, you're just a fucking asshole who shoots from the hip and has the ability to afford to shoot from the hip and be able to miss. Yeah, you're the guy. That's what that is.
Yeah, Donald Trump can have the appearance of 4-dimensional chess because he never brags about it.
At the same fucking time, the guy legitimately, say what you will about Donald Trump being rich. Rich people have parachutes because they make them themselves. Most people nowadays can't even afford to fucking get their car repaired if something happens because of the full fucking, COVID crap. But at the same fucking time, this kid is never going to fucking be hungry.
Down today, I guess. And it was so funny. Their website just went down today, I guess. And what was so funny about that is they made this video, which was gross, by the way. I don't know how these people put together and edit such a gross video. I'm sure they probably spent hours and hours animating a video, making fun of me, but something that's so gross and vulgar and disgusting about the Catboy Cami thing. And what's funny about that is Catboy Cami is now making content that is funnier and more viral than anything they ever did. And it's like,
funny is subjective.
Perfect?
I mean, I'm looking at their website. It's up right now.
Oh,
sure. I think at cheekyvideos.net. And I'm not sure if this is new. I don't know when this new video was posted. Waiting for Superman, waiting for the Superman.
Okay.
But I'm not sure when that was posted, so I'm not sure.
Is it like it censored or something?
No, they don't censor their stuff anymore now. They're not on YouTube.
Oh, okay, cool. That's fine.
Isn't that the perfect turning of the tables, right? That their whole brand was edgy Wignac comedy, and they were like, oh, Nick is whatever. This is what the alt-right is about, Milo and Catboys. And now this guy's funnier, doing their own bit better than they ever did. So, and I don't want to relitigate that whole situation, but it's just, it's another vindication. Everybody that doubted me or made fun of me kind of looks like an idiot right now. And, the other thing is, like, when it comes to Catboy Cammy, it's like when I was watching his streams on D Live, I saw somebody who had a lot of potential because he was red-pilled, knew all the issues. He had this energy of, like, he was, like, pole incarnated. He was autistic. He's off the wall. He knows how to make memes and everything. His whole life is like a meme, totally crazy. And he was able consistently to generate these semi-viral moments on D Live. He was able to get an audience consistently of about 100 viewers, which, coming from nothing, is pretty impressive. And to do that multiple times. So I saw the potential. I met up with him. It was as simple as that, and everybody tried to make it about something other than it was.
Dude,
here we are 6 months later.
it's okay to be gay. It's coming from a Catholic. It's okay to be gay. You can't help it. I understand. But let's be frank here. You're not fooling anyone. Keep playing.
I mean, technically the right term is not it's okay to be gay. It's okay to be a sinner as long as you repent eventually.
Yeah, just repent. I hate to be the guy who says this, but Catholics have a very, very bad, especially Novus Ordo Catholics. They have the very, very bad reputation of, fucking on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then repenting on Sunday. They have that very bad. They've never reformed. They're very antinomian in that regard.
Yeah, I saw there was an interesting scene in Full Metal Comics.
No, I don't.
Heavy metal comics, sci-fi comics with very sexualized themes. There was actually a good comic book story that repeats this constant looping repentance and sinfulness cycle.
Really?
It's obviously heavily Catholic.
Oh, that's cool. That's all right.
I can't remember where I put it. It's in there somewhere. I had a collection of them for a little bit, but I can't find them.
Right.
I stopped collecting them because they kind of blur together after a while.
Yeah, I had a friend who worked for heavy metal. He sold some of his T-shirts in the fucking back in the day. I keep playing it, by the way.
Nick isn't like a total whatever, not a total fag, first of all, but also not a total retard. Gee, it's almost like Nick has a rhyme and a reason to literally everything he does. It's almost like he doesn't just make these giant blunders, based on analysis by people that hate us like Bausch. It's almost like, gee, maybe there's a thought process behind all of it. So yeah, plan distrusters.
There definitely is a logos behind it, but it's not exactly what we want in our Christian and conservative movements, by the way. I'm just saying. You may be with the logos. You may know the logos, but it ain't with you, buddy. So that's pretty much that. Now let's go on to something a bit more interesting. Have you heard about Tucker Carlson this week?
Which part?
Have you heard the part where he basically gets fucked with by the New York Times?
Oh, and they say that he should be doxxed, and
oh, we're gonna watch that. First
they got rid of one of his writers, and now they're trying to dox him.
They already did dox him. They already did try to dox him once, and they already doxed him once, and now they're going after him again. And for those of you who don't know what doxing is essentially when you basically, it's basically when you make it so that what is it?
It's the first thing you do before you swat someone.
Yeah, exactly.
One more thing before we go tonight. Since this show began almost 4 years ago, I've really tried not to talk about myself on the air or even use the first-person pronoun. The last thing this country needs is more narcissism. It's not very interesting anyway. People who use the word I a lot tend to bore everyone but themselves. But tonight we're going to make an exception to that rule. We don't have much choice. Last week, the New York Times began working on a story about where my family and I live. As a matter of journalism, there is no conceivable justification for a story like that. The paper is not alleging we've done anything wrong, and we haven't. We pay our taxes, we like our neighbors, we've never had a dispute with anyone. So why is the New York Times doing a story on the location of my family's house? Well, you know why. To hurt us. To injure my wife and kids so that I will shut up and stop disagreeing with them. They believe in force. We've learned that. 2 years ago, a left-wing journalist publicized our home address in Washington. A group of screaming Antifa lunatics showed up while I was at work. They vandalized our home. They threatened my wife. She called 911 while hiding in a closet. A few weeks later, they showed up again at our house. For the next year, they sent letters to our home threatening to kill us. We tried to ignore it. It felt cowardly to sell our home and leave. We raised our kids there in the neighborhood, and we loved it. But in the end, that's what we did. We have 4 children. It just wasn't worth it. But the New York Times followed us. The paper has assigned a political activist called Murray Carpenter to write a story about where we are now.
Murray. It's not Murray. It's Murray. There's a little dash in there. And I really find it interesting that like the the world is becoming more and more mimetic every fucking day. We got ourselves the fucking the character, De Niro's character from the Joker. Yeah, we literally have a guy named Murray telling us what's what. But keep playing.
Take pictures. Their story about where we live is slated to run in the paper this week. Editors there know exactly what will happen to my family when it does run. I called them today and I told them, but they didn't care. They hate my politics. They want the show off the air. If one of my children gets hurt because of a story they wrote, they won't consider it collateral damage. They know it's the whole point of the exercise, to inflict pain on our family, to terrorize us, to control what we say. That's the kind of people they are. They'll deny this, of course. They'll claim it's just journalism, just the facts. Really? So how would Murray Carpenter and his photographer Tristan Spinsky feel if we told you where they live, if we put pictures of their homes on the air? What if we publicized the home address of every one of the soulless robot editors at the New York Times who assigned and managed this incitement to violence against my family? What about the media editor, Jim Windolf? We could do that. We know who they are. Would that qualify as journalism? We doubt they'd consider it journalism. They'd call it criminal behavior if we did it, and that tells you everything.
That does tell you everything, doesn't it? It tells you everything you need to know. But in reality,
I did this. This is my fault. Fucking Donald Trump. The left is responsible for this result because the left have now decided that any other opinion, any other way of looking at the world is unacceptable. We don't debate anymore because the left won the cultural war. So if you're on the right, you're a freak. You're evil, you're racist, you're stupid. You are a basket of deplorables. How do you think people are going to vote if you talk to them like that? When has anyone ever been persuaded by being insulted or labelled? So now, if you're on the right or even against the prevailing view, you are attacked for raising your opinion. That's why people wait until they're in the voting booth. No one's watching anymore. There's no blame or shame or anything, and you can finally say what you really think, and that is a powerful thing.
Indeed. Indeed. But yeah, it's getting bad out there, guys. It's getting fucking bad. But in case, for those of you out there who wanted more information about this particular individual, this Murray fella, he has his own Twitter profile. And, you know, it's pretty interesting to see. And he's still there. He still has it up. It's still up. I'm surprised he hasn't ran away like a pussy. He even has his own little, not secure, there's no HTTP, no HTTPS website. And those of you who want to, you know, go around and tell him how wonderful he is, and if you actually read any of his fucking retarded books, you can go tell him that. Not to say that I don't condone harassment. I don't think harassment's a good thing or very useful. However, if you want to go tell this guy what's what and say, hey, Murray, get what you deserve, Murray. What? That's what that is. He gets what he fucking deserves. And, yeah. But, yeah.
Let's see, what are some of his books exactly?
So, well, he basically wrote about how he's basically addicted to caffeine. Then he's a fucking surfer, because of course he's a fucking surfer. Everybody's a fucking who works for the New York Times is a surfer bum.
Oh, it's caffeinated and another caffeinated. The Amish menorah.
We better get Beckloff in here. We might need his expertise when it comes to the fucking Amish.
I'm not sure if that's the same author though. It could just be the same name.
Maybe. I don't fucking know.
Let's see.
But
Murray Carpenter. What's he got?
Murray Carpenter. Murray, not Murray. Murray.
Oh, is that his
it's
only
like
book
Lupin.
Oh, I guess it's his only book on Amazon, the caffeinated book.
I wonder if, you know, Terror House Magazine has sold more. I really want to know that. But be that as it may. So apparently China's having this little spurg out here, and they're basically pulling a Watergate 2.0 on this one. Have you heard about that?
Fire. Inside indoor fire.
No, literally, like, this is legitimately I'm surprised this actually was published. I'm surprised people actually believe. Well, we'll just play it. Just play the fucking clip.
Do have some breaking news right now because moments ago, the U.S. State Department is accusing China of a massive illegal spying operation and ordering Beijing to close this consulate that you see in Houston. China now threatening to retaliate. CNN's David Culver is live in Beijing with this breaking news. What have you learned, David?
Allison, we know tensions between the U.S. and China have been rising over the past months. I can tell you this is now putting it at a whole new level. This escalates things rapidly. In fact, Chinese foreign ministry is saying that this will sabotage U.S.-China relations. Let me show you some of these images out of Houston right now.
These people are fucking gaslighting.
Yeah, and just earlier today, people saying, well, don't you think it's inappropriate for Trump to call that thing that can't be named the Chinese virus?
Just You know, honestly, I'm at the point, like, I got accused of being a racist towards the Chinese, and I want people to be very, very clear. I'm not racist towards anybody. In fact, if you really want to talk about, you know, the one thing that Asians have that most European countries don't have is they have the ability to say, we're not Asian, we are Japanese, we are Chinese, we are Laotian. It's more of an ethnicity thing than it is a actual, oh my God, I'm this, I'm that. Keep playing it.
I'm just curious. The CNN has 10 million subscribers, and how many does the average video get? Let's see. See why Fox News cuts away from White House briefing. Oh, they're more famous when they're talking about Fox.
Yep.
Right now, this is the Chinese consulate down there, and as you reported there, it's scheduled to be closed now by orders of the United States State Department. The Chinese are not happy with this, but the U.S. State Department is releasing a statement explaining why they're going about this. I'm going to read you that statement here, or at least part of it. They say the People's Republic of China has engaged for years in massive illegal spying and influence operations throughout the United States against U.S. government officials and American citizens. These activities have increased markedly in scale and scope over the past few years. Now, they go on to accuse China of interfering in domestic U.S. politics as well. A significant accusation there. So what is China doing in response? I'm going to play you a little bit from the Foreign Ministry and the spokesperson there who addressed it just a few hours ago. Take a listen.
Yeah, show me Noodle Boy.
Oh, yes. Very interesting how they come to China's defense, but not Russia's defense.
Yep.
Yeah, commies look after their own.
Yes, they do.
On July 21st, the U.S. abruptly demanded that China's consulate general in Houston cease all operations and events. It is a political provocation unilaterally launched by the U.S. side, which seriously violates international law, basic norms governing international relations, and the bilateral
As if these commies care about international law.
They don't give a flying fuck. These people are the most racist motherfuckers out there. And yeah, we actually have evidence for their racism.
These people put like Muslims, like Muslim minorities, into concentration camps, cut off their hair, and sell their organs. They harvest their organs for crying out loud.
Hey, you know, they're a noble savage, don't you know? They don't waste any part of the buffalo.
But I thought they were the advanced ones. I thought they were harvesting the inferiors.
That's what I've been told. But in any case,
agreement between China and the U.S. China strongly condemns such an outrageous and unjustified move, which will sabotage China-U.S. relations.
All right, John, we have seen in recent months this back and forth between the U.S. and China, and the U.S. issuing sanctions against Chinese officials, and in dealings with stripping Hong Kong, for example, of its special trade status because of the national security law that was imposed there, with Xinjiang, the far western region, and alleged human rights abuses going on there, rising tensions in the South China Sea. All of these, though, may...
Alleged abuses.
No, they're abuses. We all know your guys are basically Nazi Germany 2.0. I mean, have you seen the racism they've seen between, what the hell you call it, the Han Chinese versus the Uyghurs?
I mean, CNN is really pushing the line of how far they can be like Walter Duranty at this point.
Yeah.
Not even rise to the level of this most recent move. Because the Chinese, while they've responded with similar sanctions, they've usually just had rhetoric going against the U.S. This may now result in significant action on their part. Already in state media, we're seeing calls for China to respond by doing something similar, like closing a U.S. consulate. There are 5 U.S. consulates here in the mainland, 1 in Hong Kong. So it's possible, and Reuters is suggesting it may be the one in Wuhan, but it's possible that could be the next step from the Chinese.
Oh, heaven forbid we close the Wuhan consulate.
I don't really care anymore. The Chinese need to be brought to fucking heel and put in their fucking place. And there is a place for the Chinese. It's called beneath fucking everybody else at all times, and they're never allowed. Just be good little workers. Be a good little fucking worker ant, and shut the hell up and buy. What's the saying? Buy product and get excited for the next product. That's your fucking life, Chinese boy.
Side, but it is very likely that they will respond to this in some manner, John.
Yeah, needless to say, we are watching that very closely over the course of the morning. David Culver, we're lucky to have you there. Please keep us posted on this breaking news.
Yeah. So let's move on to something a bit more interesting in California news.
Another extension of communist China.
Well, let's just say that it's the edge. Well, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers have stated, it's the edge of the world and all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, but at least it settles in a final location. And all understood that Hollywood sells Californication. But in any case, or degeneracy. Californication is synonymous with degeneracy. But I want you to understand this, and I want people to really pray for me about this, because there's a lot of, let me just say this, there are principalities and evil spirits and shit like that out there that want to see the failure of the United States, and also want to see the failure of people who speak the truth like myself, as well as people who just want to have a good time. And I was actually surprised that San Jose, my hometown, is apparently added to the Trump administration's watch list for COVID-19 cases. And to put this into perspective, actually, let me go. Can you play that real quick? I want to go get something real quick. Play that real quick. I'll be right back.
San Jose apparently added to Trump administration watch list as COVID-19 cases rise.
How do you think they make Starburst taste so juicy?
Starburst?
I don't want to see an advertisement. Let's see, juice equation, blah, 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 blah. Starburst commercials are fun, though.
New increases in Miami, New Orleans, Las Vegas, San Jose, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Cleveland, Nashville, Pittsburgh, Columbus, and Baltimore. So we're tracking this very closely. We're working with the state officials.
I'm back, by the way.
Audio of the call was obtained by the Center for Public Integrity, but other than the audio, the center doesn't include San Jose in its reporting. Mayor Sam Liccardo says he hasn't heard from the White House.
I can't speak to why the White House selected particular cities, but it seems as though the common theme is that the mayors of many of those cities actually never had any communication with the White House about this. So regardless, our work is the same. We need to focus on reducing our transmission rate.
In a statement, the county of Santa Clara said the increase in cases in all these cities demonstrates the need for a coordinated national approach to the pandemic.
Yeah, so basically we're added
How do
to
you
the
think they
fucking
make
list. And I wanted to read this off to you. This was given to me by my housing project, by the way, and where I live, my landlady posted this. I'm going to read this verbatim. This is a public notice that was given to me. Dear residents of Redacted, we have been recently notified that someone within our community has been confirmed to have the Corona Chan. Apparently, Corona Chan fucked somebody. It is our goal to keep you informed of anything that might impact your health and safety, especially in light of this current pandemic. We believe you will understand, due to privacy concerns, we cannot provide any identifying information about the individual in question. We also want to remind you that we will not tolerate any type of discrimination, harassment, retaliation against anyone in our community for any reason. As the current situation continues to unfold, it is very important to understand and observe the Corona Chan health and safety guidelines as provided by the County of Public Health Officer and Center of Disease Control, CDC, yada, yada, yada. As a reminder, we please continue practicing social distancing requirements of at least 6 feet from others. Washing hands from soap and with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Use hand sanitizer, covering coughs and sneezes using face masks and face mask or mask, and do not shake hands with others, etc. If you have COVID-like symptoms, please call your doctor, which I don't have a doctor, and please stay at home and self-quarantine for 14 days or until you are cleared by your doctor to resume normal activities. Please be reassured that health and safety of our residents and our on-site staff is a top priority. However, your cooperation in following the Corona Chan health and safety guidelines is extremely important to yourself and to your household and to your community. We thank you for for your cooperation, continued patience during these stressful times. Sincerely, the fucking landlady.
Interesting how their priorities are set in that letter.
Yep. You know, I talked to my landlord about getting what was the legality of having a fucking firearm. But be it as it, and they, I'm in a state where basically if you shoot someone in self-defense, you don't kill them. They have the ability to sue your ass. So if Antifa wants to come into my house and start smashing up the place, I shoot them, they could sue me. So just figure that one out for yourself. And I bring this up specifically for 2 reasons. Because apparently there's some shit going on in Portland. And according to everyone's favorite little faggot, Andy No, I want to show this to you guys of how bad shit is. And this is not in the link in the description, but it is something that I want people to understand how bad things are getting out there. Like, I went out to the Army surplus store to pick up my more bug out gear just in case things get bad. Take a look at that.
Is this I'm looking at?
Rioters are using a circular saw. I guess it's a hacksaw to cut apart a fence protecting the federal courthouse. They are literally cutting shit through like it's some sort of fucking, aliens movie. Like they're trying to cut through the wire to get away from the aliens or get into the, escape them or something.
They're the aliens trying to break in.
Yeah, they are. They are.
This is insane.
They're in the fucking walls, man.
People are sympathizing with these criminals.
And that's one instance of what the fuck's going on. Most of the stuff I save on Twitter it's the stuff I save on Twitter. Let me see if I have another link for you. I sent you a few links. Give me a few seconds. Let's see.
Mr. Reed, several years ago, a friend of mine had a burglar on her roof. A burglar. He fell through the kitchen skylight, landed on a cutting board on a butcher's knife, cutting his leg. The burglar sued my friend. He sued my friend, and because of guys like you, he won. My friend had to pay the burglar $6,000. Is that justice? No.
I'd have got him 10.
So this is breaking news again. This is from 20 hours ago, granted, but at the same time, they fucking got onto the courthouse. These motherfuckers are pushing harder and harder, and it's going to get bad. I legitimately think I have to be prepared psychologically to put out a little Luger-loving Oppenheimer or Makarov motherfucker.
Thank you for giving Trump free ads, idiots.
Yep.
You want America? All he has to do. This is what the Democrats want. That's all he has to do.
Yep. I honestly think that Trump might be assassinated. I really hope he isn't, because that's the fucking sum of all fears. If he gets assassinated and then somebody like Mike Pence takes over or something, I legitimately will be like terrified. I am scared for my fucking life at that point. But yeah, it's getting bad out there. It's getting legitimately fucking bad. I am, I'm scared for my life in some cases, especially since, let me see if I can find it here. This is actually right. This actually happened right in my neck of the woods also. Let's see if I can find it. San Jose. Like the police in San Jose, there was a subpoena, I believe. Let's see if I can find it. I think I sent it to you at one point, Luke. Give me one second.
Let's see, which one was it?
There was a subpoena in which they, what was it? They talked about, let's see. All right. I'm sorry. I'm not exactly professional here, guys, but just go with it. San Jose PD.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. We're fucking doing it live. So apparently, this is not in the link either, but hell, what the hell? We start as we go. We go as we go. Apparently, San Jose officer involved with a kicking and dragging of a woman placed on leave. So apparently there was a video, and I'll link the video to you. For those of you who want to follow and who want to know what the hell's going on. This happened right outside of my church, and my church is a very nice traditional Catholic church, right next to it, by the way. So I honestly think that the church is going to get destroyed soon. I want people to just listen.
Smashing Jesus and Mary all over the place, so why not?
Why not? And I'm serious. Like, this is a historical Catholic church, and I'm at the point where I'm thinking I might actually go down there and kick some Antifa ass. It's getting to the point where we need to start fighting back against these people.
I'm a Protestant iconoclast, and even I don't think this is okay.
It's not acceptable.
Don't get all into it.
Wait,
so,
this way the church, or what was this?
This is by the church. This is right by it. So there are going to be people who will go right there. It's right next to a McDonald's as well. This is the McDonald's parking lot.
It was the woman black?
The woman is black.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yep. Here we go.
Pens are down. Okay,
and they drag her out. Yeah. So Double D's got some explaining to do.
So is she dead, or is she still alive? Or...
She's still alive. The update according to what this particular site's San Jose Spotlight has stated.
Get her up on her feet. Come on.
Yeah. Yep. An officer involved in a traffic stop that ended with a woman being kicked and dragged through a parking lot in a San Jose McDonald's was put on administrative leave. San Jose resident Josh Gill shot the video Wednesday while picking up a DoorDash order. He said that he was organizing meals he picked up when he noticed the cops were in the parking lot. I hear the cops pulled up behind the woman. I think she was with a family member and 2 kids, Gil said. Told San Jose Spotlight. They pulled guns out on them and demanded her to get out of the car. The woman was identified Friday as police officials as Guadalupe Esperanza Martin. Fucking Spaniards, man. 39 was arrested for driving with a suspended license, possession of paraphernalia, and resisting arrest. Now, they say possession of paraphernalia. That means that she basically had a smoking pipe, a weed pipe on her. And that basically gives them the A-OK to search. Because God forbid, in California where everything's fucking closed, but the weed shops are open.
Another act of police brutality in a blue state. I wonder if there's a pattern.
Well, it's fucking pigs, man. They're just disrespectful little creatures that hate their nation, hate their culture, and hate their people. It's just that's the way it is.
I mean, I know it's a boomer tactic, but these are Democrat pigs.
They're Democrat. They're demonic Democrat pigs. San Jose spokesperson San Jose spokesman Sergeant Enrique Garcia said one of the officers in the video was put on administrative leave pending their internal investigation. He did not specify which one and did not release either of the officers' names. He said the officers obtained a seizure warrant for the vehicle after it evaded officers on July 18th and July 22nd. It's unclear why the officers initially pursued the vehicle. So now they can make shit up.
So why does this person have to mention that it was at McDonald's by Santa Clarita in San Jose? Why was that necessary?
Well, I don't know. I think it's simply because the guy was on DoorDash, and that's the reason he brought it up. That's what I believe. But at the same freaking time, it's going to get bad here. I really think I'm in ground zero. I really think that we're going to have something very similar to what's going on in New York. Link in the description for those of you who want to follow along. This is the thing that scares me. For those of you who don't know.
Mercury News, what have they got?
Lift it up.
It's the what's this? Bay Area News.
Bay Area News Group sues San Jose for failure to release information about officers. Give me one second.
Use of force records. Huh.
Yeah. So for all we know, the cops are just gonna say, "Well, you don't need to know about that." Well, yeah, we fucking do. Give us the data, or we're gonna fucking take you and get rid of your freaking pensions. We're gonna get rid of your pensions if you continue with this type of BS. So San Jose Bay Area News Group has sued the San Jose PD force for the release of dozens of files on officer misconduct and use of force more than 18 months after a landmark transparency lawsuit required law enforcement across California to release such records. The lawsuit comes from after more than 6 months of negotiations, and even after Mayor Sam Liccardo, which is the cuck in the previous video, insisted that the police comply with the law known as SB 1421. San Jose police have countered it, and it will take years to review and release more than 80 files sought by the news organization. So far, they have released only 6 complete cases and partial records of 20 others. The records sought are of critical public importance in rebuilding the public's trust in the law enforcement, especially at this moment in history, and the public's attention is forced on the police's practices in a way that it never has been before. Attorney James Chadwick, who represents the new organization, wrote in a 26-page filed lawsuit in Santa Clara County Superior Court. So yeah, apparently there's going to be a lot of looking into this stuff. I think I'm standing on a powder keg, guys. I'm really nervous about that. I'm quite concerned, to be honest. And yeah, so my advice: do what Jesus said. If you do not have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. But yeah, it's getting bad, man.
Thank goodness I live in Arizona with some sense, or at least where it's a distance with some sense.
Yeah.
But
And at the same, again, I really want people to understand this. I think the police are the type of people who will, be authoritarian. I think they will crack down on this stuff far sooner than anybody expects. They're not as cuckish as the people in Seattle, but they certainly aren't pushovers either.
Oh crap! The LAPD.
Come on, Pete. I want to save some tape for the Hollywood sign.
Okay. Hey, thanks a lot, you guys.
Hey, our pleasure. Have a nice vacation, sir.
Yeah, that shit's real.
And then there's this famous one.
Hey, you're that black guy I saw in the news conference, ain't you?
Yeah, that's me.
This is car 15. I'm gonna need backup. I've got a stolen vehicle here.
But this is my car.
Suspect's getting belligerent.
What?
Officer down.
Yep, that's basically what these people are. I've always said the police need to have like a better mental health help. They have a hard job, I get it, but some people are just not mentally fit to be police officers. They're not mentally fit.
I mean, when you have the monopoly, when your job is literally the monopoly of violence and civilization, you go a little crazy.
Yep, you have too much gear, too much. It's like what was it? What was his name? Fritz Ford Coppola said in Apocalypse Now. My movie is not about Vietnam. It is Vietnam. We had all this money and all this time and better equipment, and we slowly went insane in the jungle. That's sort of what's going on with these fucking cops. They're losing their fucking mind, and they want to be called hero. So I'm gonna end it really soon because I've gone going on for far too fucking long. And apparently Pajit is very pissed off about the whole fucking H1B visa shit. So Indian H1B visa holders groups in the United States hold rally demanding immigration law reform because God forbid you come over here the fair way or even get the fuck out of here. You're not wanted, Pajit. Just go back to your own nation. You don't belong here. Get the fuck out. A group of Indians in H1B visa held a rally in Washington, D.C. and on Wednesday morning demanding immigration reforms to benefit those who are in the country legally, despite the fact that they are here legally, but they're on a guest pass. So fuck you. You just want to have it in our country, you dirty little fucking animal. Indian immigrants, including women and children, organized an equality rally with the key goal of getting Senator Dick Durbin, a Democrat from Illinois, and also a lone senator who has stalled the passing of a bill that would make receiving employment based on green cards and a first-come, first-served system. These are tax-paying, law-abiding, skilled immigrants they're not immigrants, they're H-1B visas.
What's the difference?
H-1B visas are here just to be fucking slaves. Immigrants are here to be free men.
Oh, here we are. Already in the country for many years, doctors, engineers, scientists, and professors. They are stuck in They're stuck in the long green card backlog, which will span 150 years. What are we doing here? Is protesting Senator Durbin's hold on the bill yesterday, and he is making sure that Indian immigrants who are already here would not get equal treatment under the law, which is unfair, said Amma Kapoor, immigration vice president. Let's see. Immigration voice organizer band together outside the Capitol with strong sentiments with the quote fairness for high skilled immigrants act quote should be passed in order to remove the current 7% per country gap in unemployment visas.
Media Hit says Pajit IT nerds be like going to Thailand and splitting the cost on a Thai prostitute.
Oh,
huh.
Placards at the rally include ones that read, "Hate has no home here. Senator Durbin hates Indian immigrants, and racism is a disease." Ooh, Democrats again blamed with racism, eh?
Fucking Pajit, shut up, Pajit, you fucking animal. You're just you're just pissed off because you weren't born in the proper caste. That's all that is. And even then, you won't even work in your own country, so you have to come over here and ruin our country. That's what that is.
Another key demand of the group was the green card backlog must be cleared as opposed to the current wait time that could run into decades for employment-based green cards for Indians. Quote, Well, the American dream, I think, is no longer true for Indian immigrants. No kidding. It's supposed to be for Americans.
You're not an immigrant, you fucking monkey. You're not even a fucking... You're not an immigrant. You're just here to be a fucking corporate bitch. That's all you're there
corporate
for.
Cog, corporate bug, whatever they want. The way the system is today is very discriminatory. I wish somebody told me that when I was young. I always grew up watching American sitcoms and serials and imagined a lifestyle.
Shut up. You weren't here for that fucking long. You really weren't. He's lying.
So if I were to go back in my previous time and reset this, I would probably think otherwise.
And there's even a fucking Twitter immigration voice, which, by the way, I don't like these people. I think they're evil.
What does this say?
Let me see if
Peters! Separate is! Not equal! Senator Peters! H1B is!
This is great. If he's been here for 20 years, he can't even get a fucking proper accent.
Senator Peters! Break the silence! Separate is! Not equal! Senator Peters! Break the silence! Separate is! Not equal! Senator...
Oh, what was that? Break the silence? And they're saying silence is violence?
I don't fucking know. Can you understand what the word the fucking thing's saying?
Peters! Break the silence! H1B is! Endanger solitude! Separate is! Not equal! Senator Peters! Break the silence! Separate is!
I like how I really feel like they half-assed this. They really fucking half-assed this. They're just using rhetoric to try to game the system. They don't even know what these symbols mean. They have no idea.
The group is also aggressively pushing for legal childhood arrivals to receive any benefits that individuals brought illegally to the United States as minors, the Dreamers, might receive legal status in the United States. HB1 visa holders whose children and spouses got H4 dependent visas are asking for that H4 children be given green cards straight away so they can remain in the U.S. after they turn 21 without having to switch to another visa category, such as a student visa or a HB1 visa, or having to self-deport.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Get out of here.
Himself would live in uncertainty due to the... Yeah, well, you are guests here. You're working cogs acting as guests here, so that's kind of...
Just go back to your own fucking country and leave us the fuck alone. In fact, I think this should be probably we should probably make some sort of legislation so they have to leave their wealth here. And then it just goes on public auction. I think that's a fair, honest way to do these things.
Quote, in the DREAM Act, we have requested him, Senator Durbin, and his staff for the last nearly 15 years to include children of Indian immigrants who are illegal immigrants in the U.S., but they have systematically excluded children from Indian immigrants. Wait, 15 years included children of Indian immigrants who are legal immigrants in the United States, but they have systemically excluded children of Indian immigrants. Wait, what? A&I reached out to Senator Durbin and we're waiting a response, but as of now, the High Skilled Immigrant Act has passed the House, but not the Senate.
It better... Do we control the Senate? Do we... I hope so. Let me look this up, because if we don't control the Senate, those motherfuckers are gonna pass the shit.
Yeah, we still control the Senate.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Well,
Oh my God.
It just depends on how many Republicans they can win over.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically this week in the nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Luke, any final thoughts?
I think it's rather fitting. Are you familiar with the Has-Been Hotel?
Yes, I have.
The same people made this very impressively animated music video, and I think its chorus is very fitting for these very bizarre times for these people who live in this chaos.
I'm addicted to the madness. This hotel is my Atlantis. We're forever gonna have a fucking reason to sin. Let me leave my soul to burn and I'll be breathing it in.
Yeah, but enough about Catboy Cammy. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of one another, protect one another, take care of yourself, look out for yourself. Remember, saving the West is a side quest. This is the Digital Renegade Podcast. Out.